How to stay in control of over more than 50 projects. And what if you've tried everything already, but nothing seems to work? My name is Jan van, and this is a serious question because so many project organizations are struggling with their projects. And this is the key insight to get in control again. Over 94% of all the problems with projects is caused by someone who didn't have enough time. Did you know that? This is about people who can't live up to their commitments, who make more errors, who communicate less. They don't have the time, they have other things to do. In all project organizations there are people who don't have enough time to get all the work done. And it's about the people you are most dependent on. And that's regardless whether other people don't have enough work to keep them busy all day. And as long as people don't have enough time to get their work done, then any problem can occur and solutions will not work because they don't have the time. The reason why this occurs is that projects get started regardless whether they have time, yes or no. So overwhelming your organization. And that is because the pressure to start new projects is very high. There are very clear business reasons, there are clear personal reasons, and it's more fun to start a new project. But on the other side, the organizations who need to carry out the work, the people who do the work, it is muddy and misty. There is a lot of uncertainty and unclarity. And the people who do the work, they often don't know exactly how they do the work. So when the question comes whether there is capacity, yes or no, to start a new project, the answer is they don't know. And because the pressure to start new projects is high, then projects will get started regardless whether they have time, yes or no. There are so many task forces, improvement strategies, action plans in project organizations to better complete projects successfully that die a silent death. And most of those initiatives, they are not focused on solving this problem. They're fixing the wrong problem. Fortunately, there are solutions to prevent that people have a higher workload than 100%. That is resource leveling. The problem with resource leveling, however, is it doesn't work. It requires a lot of detailed and accurate information which is not available for project organizations. There is too much unclarity, too much uncertainty. There is a lot of multitasking in project organizations that cannot be prevented, that cannot be eliminated. Resource leveling doesn't work for multitasking. Fortunately, there is an alternative. And the key insight for this is that the workload, as presented in the workload graph, it doesn't exist in reality. It is not real. It is artificial. And that opens the door to a new solution. Drum buffer rope. Drum buffer rope is a proven and well-known solution to control the workflow in production and service organization and also in transport and distribution. It works like this. New projects will only be started when other projects get completed. And in this way it is guaranteed that people always have enough time to get their work done. Because if they don't, then it will delay completing the project and then it also will delay starting on new projects, creating more time to get the work done. It perfectly synchronizes starting a project with completing projects. Because when completing projects slows down, also the starting up of projects slows down. And when completing projects speeds up, then also startup of projects will speed up. Every time a project gets completed, someone beats the drum. And the drum defines the rhythm in which new projects get started. Well, projects will be added to the pipeline of projects, and because of all the uncertainties and the fluctuations, we need more projects in the pipeline than currently can be worked upon. So there is a buffer of work that is not being worked upon, but in case projects speed up a little bit, then there is always work available that can be worked upon immediately. And that is called the buffer. Well, we need to start projects ahead of time because of the long duration of projects. So we can consider the duration of the project as the rope in the drum buffer rope. When the project gets completed, someone beats the drum. A new project is added to the buffer and it is pulled through the pipeline of the buffer towards completion by pulling the rope of the project. This is the demo of drum buffer rope. I'll first introduce you to the pipeline of the project. On top is the work in progress, all the projects that have been started already. At the bottom are the projects that need to be started. On the right is the schedule overview. The red line is the current schedule of the projects and the orange bar is the recommended planning. It takes in account the availability of the resources. The light blue bar is the project window, with the latest possible finish date as communicated with the client and the earliest possible start date. Okay, first we add the drum to the project. The drum is represented by a virtual task. To this drum I assign the same amount of work as the total workload for the constraint in this project. The constraint in the organization is the skill or the resource with the highest workload. In this demo, that is civil engineering, or the civil engineering engineer Roosevelt Orlando. And this guy has about 172 hours of work. And I assign that to the drum. When all the work in this project for the constraint is completed, also the virtual drum task will be completed. So the drum of this project will be removed from the pipeline. This is how the drum looks in a project. And now I'll show you how it will look in the pipeline. The top of the graph is the resource load for civil engineering. And it is good to realize that the resource load as presented in this graph, or as presented in the resource load graph for other planning software, doesn't exist in reality. It is non-existing. The average figure is the average workload in this light area. And a percentage lower than 100% tells us that we have enough time to get all the work done. The bottom chart shows the drum of all the projects. When I select project one by one, you see where the drum is in the pipeline. You see there is no drum all the time. That's the reason the average workload is lower than 100%. In a minute we are going to add more projects because we have some spare capacity for the coming month. Okay, that's about the drum. The peak in the resource load for civil engineering is the buffer. And we need the buffer to absorb fluctuations and uncertainty in the pipeline, to prevent that the pipeline will run empty. The rope is the time between starting the project up to the drum. And that is used to determine the start date of the project, provided the position of the drum in the pipeline. Well, managing the pipeline is as easy as staggering drums next to each other, and then determine the start date of the project. This is the complete pipeline of all the projects, including the current work in progress and the projects that need to be started. On top are all the projects that are released already. At the bottom are the new projects ready to start. So let's do that. The orange bar gives the recommended schedule. It is based on the specific project window, the project priority and the drum availability, so based on the availability of the constraint. And now you see a few projects that can be started already, while others still need to wait, either because the project can't be started earlier or the constraint is not available yet. If completing project would slow down, then also starting projects will slow down. And when completing projects will speed up, then also the starting of new projects will speed up. Okay, for now, let's remove the projects that are not ready to start yet. When we just look at the drums, we see that the pipeline is nicely filled till the mid of January. When we zoom in to the time window where there is work for civil engineering, our constraint, then we see that the average workload is about 84%. Okay, again we see the buffer in this graph. That is the additional amount of work till the end of January, causing the peak in the workload. And we need it to absorb fluctuations and uncertainties. Then there is a time window that runs from the end of the buffer till the point that the pipeline starts running empty, when the gaps between the drums start to increase. In this period, the workload fluctuates about an average workload of 100%. From the moment the drums are not packed tight, the pipeline runs empty. Before that happens, we must have started additional projects. Now you've seen that with drum buffer rope it is possible to solve the cause that is responsible for over 94% of the problems with projects. But we have created a new problem. Although we have time enough to get all the work done, and that will prevent a lot of problems, we don't have enough time to get all the work done in time. Well, you might wonder, why not try to prevent the periods of the high overload, the peaks? Then we will have enough time to get the work done, and we will also have enough time to get the work done in time. But eliminating this peak would be a disaster for the organization. It will create a dramatic overcapacity. Because the only way to remove this peak is to delay projects, to create more space between the drums in the pipeline. So we need another solution for that, and that is a simple one. We will add another buffer to each project to absorb uncertainties and changes in the project, like the availability of the constraint. Now we know everybody has time to get the work done, and we know we make maximum use of the available capacity of the organization. Now we also know we can commit with far greater reliability the end date of the project. In this video you learned that over 94% of all the problems with projects is caused by someone who didn't have enough time. And you can't stay in control of your project if your people don't have enough time to get the job done. Whatever you try, nothing will work. But you also learned that drum buffer rope will help you to guarantee that your people will have enough time to get their job done. And instead of working on all those problems, they now can start working on speeding up completing the project, getting more projects done. And the revenue of those additional projects will totally flow to the bottom line of your organization. It means you will improve the financial performance of your organization. You will make more money. If you want to know more about projects or project organizations, then go to empoweryourprojects.com. And also, if you want to learn what software does support drum buffer rope, check out empoweryourprojects.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and thanks for watching.